guess you could say this tale revolves around this guy. He was my boss, and I think I killed him. But let's start at the beginning. Welcome to investment banking. I know what you're thinking, but trust me, this isn't just a story about a bunch of corporate tools unraveling in fun and entertaining ways. It's about all of us.
We're gonna start you off slow. Pick up and drop off my dry cleaning. In a few months, maybe you'll be confident enough to take my coffee order. But let's not be hasty.
Place can drive some a little nuts. Pull. Guy's got associates practically jumping out of windows.
Windows on the 44th floor don't open. I've checked.
Success isn't so much doing stuff right as it is not f***ing it up too badly.
Check the company database for some Asian people and put them on there. 3 of them.
You're gonna be sipping bubbly out of the cup this year, B.
He thinks I look up to him. Sometimes that feels like the hardest part of the job. Pretending.
I want you to come work for me, Bobby. Just think of it. No more pitch deck revisions. Just this.
And you'd pay me for that.
More money than you know what to do with.
I was thinking we could do some number crunching tonight if you're free.
Your cubicle or mine.
Oh! You see that? Maybe meet later?
Yeah, sure.
Nice touch.
Seems you've been exploring some strategic alternatives of your own.
You're all mine.
Pull over! Tread carefully, Sanders. Some moves you can't come back from.
Counting on it. The job.
Giddy up.
The money. The girl. It's not about what you get. It's about what you lose.
Boom, there you go. That was the trailer for Bull Run, arriving in theaters as well as digital on November 14th. I'm KUYA P. This is Nerds Rule the World. Joining me to talk all things Bull Run, I have director as well as co-writer Alfredo Barrios Jr., as well as the author of the book and co-writer on the screenplay, as well as a producer who was just in it for Crafty, from what I read, the one and only Bill Keenan. Thank you, gentlemen. I really appreciate your time. How are you guys?
Fantastic. Thanks for having us.
Great. Great to meet you. Yeah.
Definitely. Sorry to talk about Crafty with you, Bill, but that's why I love sets. Why not?
I mean, exactly. I mean, unfortunately, when we did it, it was during the pandemic, so I don't think we had the best selection. And there was, everything had that like hint of, the hand sanitizer, but remember those days.
I definitely do. All right, gentlemen. Well, again, thank you for your time. Let's talk about how this project came together. This was like viewing this, and I had the pleasure of checking it out. Thank you guys so much. Felt like an 80s throwback for me. I'm an 80s baby. This felt very much like a film from that time, so it just made me have a smile on my face and was a lot of fun. So, Bill, this was based on your novel, Discussion Materials, Tales of a Rookie Wall Street Investment Banker. How did you take that book, and then how did you meet up with Alfredo and wanted to take that story and turn it into a feature?
Yeah, so I worked for 2 years at an investment bank, and basically the day that I started working, I just knew this was like too crazy a world not to write about. So that's kind of what kept me in it. Once I had enough material, I was like, all right, I'm out. I want to go write a book. When I wrote the book, it was so much fun. I had previously written a book about my time playing hockey over in Europe, and I'd written a screenplay, sent it to some producers. I was called Odd Man Rush, and that eventually got made into an independent feature. And so I figured I'd love to try that again. And so I went. After I wrote the book, I went to these producers that I had worked with, Howard and Karen Baldwin, and they had a relationship with a manager who has a client who ended up being Alfredo, who lived a similar life, not in banking, but as a lawyer. And so they quickly connected us. We, kind of traded war stories and quickly realized this was something that I think we both understood this world. He had, has extensive background in writing and directing. And so we were able to just get going kind of right away.
I love it. I just noticed, so this is kind of you, because the character is a former hockey player from what I recall.
Yeah, we didn't stray too far from the truth.
Awesome. All right, Alfredo. So you heard about this from Bill. Why did you want to do it, and why do you think it's such a kind of universally relatable story in such a way?
Yeah, well, first of all, the book is amazing and it's really funny. It really takes you into the world of investment banking, like with all the details, all the gory details. And I immediately connected to it because I had worked at a big corporate law firm and I was like thinking to myself, wow, that's a lot like that investment bank, right? And it was around the time of the pandemic, so we're all wondering, are we going to live or die now? And the book really puts into question, like, who are we, like, what are we, am I going to be part of this group that like screws over people or what, and so we were asking ourselves questions about identity, purpose, like deep questions. But we wanted to tell a funny story, and one of the movies we love, and you could probably see that a little bit, is Office Space, right? From way back, and we wanted to make our version of Office Space a really funny, great comedy that spoke to us in today's world, right? And we were lucky to bring on some really talented people and cast, including Tom Blyth, who just kills it, Jay Mohr. If you're a fan of the 80s, you're going to love Jay Mohr, and Diamantopoulos, who we love from his days in Silicon Valley. And we just wanted to make a really fun, funny movie that had heart and also spoke to like the world that we live in, which is like asking us, how morally compromised do you want to be when you go like, into work?
I love that. Yeah, I'll definitely underline funny and quirky. Just a fun ride with this one. And yeah, hit that nostalgic feels. Office Space, yeah, was one of them. And like those 80s classics. It felt like of that era. So Bill, Alfredo, so you guys decided to do this. We're adapting the book. We gotta, lock this screenplay together, start, pre-pro, getting all this amazing cast that you got. But I'd like to go back to you, Bill, though, working with somebody else. You wrote the novel, the book, but then you're working with somebody, you were adapting it to feature. What was it like doing that adaptation, working with Bill, going back and forth, and maybe having to trim a little bit of fat in essence of the screenplay? What was that like? And can we talk about that collaboration?
Yeah, I mean, I think it went about as smoothly as it could have. Like Alfredo said, the book. This is very niche. I mean, it's a book about life as an investment banker, and when you write a 300-page book, you can get into like every last detail. When you're doing a comedy, 90 minutes, it's a process to really tease out and figure out how to transfer that drama, because ultimately, in the book, this is me versus my computer. Like that was very much like versus Excel versus PowerPoint and like a boss. And so we had to figure out, and this is something that we did a lot of, thought went into how can we dramatize this so it's commercial, it lends itself to a theater or to your TV screen. And so I think we were very much aligned, I think, on how we saw the characters. And I do think that it really transferred the sensibility. And then just to tie back to what you said at the beginning with the 80s, I love that reference, because one of outside of an Office Space, we talked a lot about like a Ferris Bueller's Day Off, because we do have the breaking the fourth wall. And, it takes a certain type of charisma, and Tom Blyth, certainly has that charisma to really be it's kind of the version of like every guy that you kind of wish you were, but, he's slightly elevated. And so I think it was a lot of fun. We just sort of figured out what is it, how do we retain the spirit of the book and the journey of that main character, but then, really imbue it with a lot of, real drama.
Awesome. All right. So Alfredo, you got Tom Blyth, who is, like you said, Bill, just phenomenal, great upcoming actor. He gave me that Ferris Bueller vibe, from the 80s. Mm-hmm. Jay Mohr, who you mentioned, such a great cast, this ensemble. Can you talk about casting and then, directing all of these amazing, players you have in this production?
It was, I'm just going to say it was a joy. I mean, and going back to the question that you asked Bill, like, and I agree with Bill. I don't think it could have gone better. I mean, we were laughing our asses off pretty much every day as we were coming up with this crazy story. And then when we finished the script and then went on the set, and had the actors come on, including Tom and Jay and Chris and Ashwin and everybody else. You know, when you direct a comedy, you have to allow yourself to improvise, right? And so they would do a take where we would do like as written, and then I would say, okay, let's just have fun with it. Let's just go crazy, you know? And everybody was like, all right, like that's a dangerous thing to tell, you know, actors, but if you're game for it, sure. And we found such magic, right? Such comedic magic, some fun magic. And honestly, the hardest thing for me, and I had to pinch my leg every time I had my headphones on and was watching on a monitor, because they would capture me on sound laughing. So I remember Chris Diamantopoulos at one point going, Alfredo, I can hear you laughing. Right. And I was ruining sound. So and it was that fun. It was that fun. And we had fun every day. And I think the movie translates that fun onto the screen. I think you could see the fun energy that was in that movie, because I think you see it on screen and hear it on screen.
Definitely. Bill, going back to you, sir. So we're in production, we're filming it. Was there anything, again, this kind of goes back to earlier, that, you know, is kind of maybe hard to translate, that you want people to know about, like, this kind of experience? You definitely are, you know, you're highlighting things in the comedic nature that it can be. Is there anything that can't really even be explained, even from a feature, that is just the wild insanity that is being an investment banker?
Honestly, I mean, the beauty of adapting it is that you really have to distill it into its essence. And so I think we teased out so much of the great absurdity, and you know, on the one hand, there's the absurdity of like kind of the over the top stuff, but there's also just like the absurdity of sitting there and thinking this is like, while you're living it, like this is life or death. Like there's always urgency in every task that you do at the bank. But then from an outsider's perspective, you know, when you're sitting there and you're talking about selling a company that, you know, makes like the rubber that goes into a tire or something, it's sort of like, this is not that important. And so I think we were able to figure out like a delicate balance between making sure that like the stakes are really high, but also someone can look at this and say, we didn't want Wall Street to be unapproachable. The idea here is, as the audience, you can say like, I can kind of look down on Wall Street, because the reality is, you know, there's a lot that goes into it that we wanted to kind of dispel, because this is from a junior baker's perspective. This isn't just about like, you know, bajillions of dollars getting thrown all around. This is sort of kind of the ludicrous nature of what actually happens day to day.
Amazing. Can you spotlight anything without spoiling for the audience that haven't seen it yet? I had the pleasure again, and I'm so thankful, that was particularly true, that was fun seeing it play out in production with Alfredo. That's a moment that's from your real history of this.
I mean, I can just to give you a sense of the juxtaposition of what I'm talking about, and we were able to adapt these ideas. It wasn't like blow for blow, but you know, this is something that happened to me and is in the book and then transferred into the movie. But you know, the first day of the internship, don't know anything. Basically, I have a lanyard around my neck that says like my name and that I work here. Other than that, I got no clue. I don't know where my desk is. Don't know to get my computer, and I'm called over to sort of my boss's desk, and he gives me his BlackBerry, because back in those days that's how you communicated. I was like, here, you're going to take these guys. They just left their, you know, publicly traded company, and they're going to go try to raise $500 million today to fund their new venture. And I'm thinking, well, I'm not going to be in a position to be useful for them outside of being a chaperone. And it turns out that's kind of a key role of a banker, just being a chaperone, just kind of making it seem, it just makes it feel important. And so I meet these guys, you know, as I said, West Virginia kind of coal miners, and kind of shepherd them around to like, you know, all over Wall Street. You have no idea the stakes for them. This is like their livelihood. And, you know, I don't know the first thing how to help them other than be a cheerleader. And so you have this incredible responsibility that's thrown on you day one. And that was literally the first day in the internship. And I'm thinking, wow, like I'm going to learn a lot thrown right into the fire. Day two, my task is sit at your computer. We've changed the colors, the orange in our color palette at the bank. So go through every deck and you're going to change it so it's, you know, not goldenrod, but it's this other permutation of orange. And then one of the bosses I worked for had he had a gastric bypass surgery earlier that year, and so I had to change the picture of him in all the decks in PowerPoint because he had slimmed down substantially. So that was day 2. So you kind of go from like doing something where it's like, wow, this is important, to sort of like, you got to be kidding me.
I love it. It's so absolutely hilarious. I wasn't an investment banker, but I have been in relatable positions that I know this and I feel this and I remember this. It's hilarious. Thank you for sharing that, Bill. Alfredo, and to close this out, because I'm getting on time, let me go back to you, Alfredo, and then I'll go back to Bill. Why do you think people should check this out? Why again, we kind of spoke on this, it's so relatable, but can you just tell me the fun of this film and just how people can connect with Bull Run, if I can go back to you, Alfredo?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're in for like a really fun time. I think the movie's hilarious. I think Tom Blyth just captures the zeitgeist of our time, which is to say, like, we're all feeling like we're kind of lost and adrift in the world and looking for meaning. And so, like, I suppose that's the deeper, more serious, like, you know, element of the movie. But I think at the end of the day, it's just like to have a good time and laugh with these characters that really embody and take you into this really specific world that most people don't get to see, and now you get to see it and have a good time doing it.
Amazing. It's a good time. And for you, Bill, what do you hope people take away from your somewhat personal story and the fun that they're going to have seeing this?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm hopeful that look, it's a movie, so the goal is to get them to laugh. Maybe they'll think a little bit, but you know, this is the backdrop is Wall Street, and I think that people have such expectations for what it is, and I think we worked really hard to subvert a lot of those expectations and show a part of this world that you wouldn't have expected, and you know, is not really out there and visible to a lot of people. So, you know, I think that is a reason to go check it out.
Awesome. Can we expect more collaboration between you two? You know, Bill, you did the, you know, your hockey story like you said before this, and now we have this, and you got Alfredo in your corner. Some collaboration, because the best stories come from real experiences.
Totally. I mean, we've talked about. I think there's always an opportunity. We've talked a lot about trying to see if this could be a series, and I think we've got a cast that has a lot of potential. They've led series kind of up and down the cast, so there may be that in the works as well.
Oh, sweet.
Sure.
I'd love to dive into more. Amazing. Well, gentlemen, really appreciate your time. Congratulations on this project. And I'm looking forward. I'm going to keep my fingers crossed to maybe a possible Bull Run series. But again, thank you so much. Let me remind everybody again, in theaters and available digital on November 14th from Vertical Entertainment, we have Bull Run. Go check it out. Let us know in the comments. Show love to Alfredo and Bill. I'm KUYA P. This is Nerds Rule the World. All right, gentlemen, there's a cut.
Nerds rule the world.
Pleasure chatting with you. Love to all my nerds who rule the world.
Yeah. Nerds rule the world.
Yes, we do.
Thanks. Nerds rule the world. Thank you.
I love the nerds ruling the world, so more power to you.
Patrick, what up, man? And yes, they do. Nerds rule the world, kid.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Awesome. KUYA P, Nerds Rule the World. Hello.
Yes, they do.
Yes.
Oh,
Nerds Rule the World.
I got.
It's in the title of your show, like Nerds Rule the World. Like, I want more Black weirdos on screen, and I don't feel like we ever get to see that very much.
Thank you so much. Nerds do rule the world.
Yes. Thank you.
They're nice to meet you. Nerds do rule the world.
We do. We're phenomenal, aren't we?
Thank you, Nerds Rule.
Love it.
Hello, Sarah. Hello, Julian.
Yes,
Rock on. I love it. Thank you so much.
It's good to see you. I love Nerds Rule the World.
But yeah, there's a heavy nerd component, man.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, if you ask me, nerds rule the world. So
Absolutely.
And you're right, nerds do rule the world.
we're just the best.
Yes.
Yes. Nerds do rule the world. I agree.
We do.
I agree.
We're awesome, aren't we?
Thank you, ladies.
Nerds so much.
Yes. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
And nerds really do rule the world.
Thank you, sir. It's your boy KUYA P. Nerds rule the world. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you.
Do. They rule the world all right.
Yes. Take care, Tony. Thank you, guys.
Well, I was good until I saw that this is Nerds Rule the World. So are we talking about like everybody you interview is a nerd, right?
Oh, it's a legal requirement. It is.
It's a legal requirement. Or are you, or the second you popped on screen, I was like, wait, are you supposed to be the queen nerd then?
I hope so. My handle is Heather is a nerd, so I am a professional at least.
Okay. But then you enter that whole question of like, well, if you're calling yourself a nerd, are you really a nerd? True nerd, would they call them? I don't know. I'm going to start going cross-eyed.
Going to psychoanalyze this a little bit.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Lily. All right. I guess we're rocking and rolling. Thank you, Lily. Thank you, Alfredo. Thank you, Bill. It's a pleasure to chat with you both. I'm going to do a 3, 2, 1 real quick to help me with my edit. We're going to be coming off the trailer. I'm going to introduce myself, introduce you guys, and we'll get all into Bull Run.
Awesome. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. All right, let's rock and roll. Here we go. In a 1, 2, 3.